Okay, here we have this illustration of different signal transduction cascades. Four of the most important signal transduction cascades are shown here in this picture. That include, the protein-linked neurotransmitters. We call it G protein linked systems, ion channel linked systems, hormone linked systems, and neurotrophin linked systems. Each of these systems begins with different first messengers binding to a unique receptor, according to the system, of course, leading to activation of actually very different downstream second, third, and fourth messenger, and subsequent chemical messengers. So having many different signal transduction cascades allow neurons to respond in amazingly diverse biological ways to a whole array of chemical messaging systems. So let's just talk about them one by one. Starting from the left, you can see here that neurotransmitters activate both G-linked systems and ion channel linked systems. So they both are contain, the first messenger as neurotransmitters. And another similarity here that both of these systems activate genes. Let's just go next to the end of that. They both activate genes in the cell nucleus by phosphorylating protein, which is called cyclic AMP response element binding protein, which is the CREB, cyclic AMP response element binding protein, CREB. So these are the similarities between these systems. But the G protein linked system works through a cascade involving a cyclic AMP. Okay, so we have this cascade. We will go through it one by one next in a minute, inshallah. So, but let's just talk about them in general. So we have the G protein linked system that works through this cascade that involve the cyclic adenosine monophosphate, and of course a protein kinase A. Whereas the ion channel linked system works through calcium. That's a difference here. And calcium would use its and this system would use calcium and its ability to activate a different kinase called calcium calmodulin dependent protein kinase, which is calcium MK. Okay, this is how it works. So neurotransmitter, this first messenger, then second messenger here is cyclic AMP for G protein, and it's calcium for ion channel linked system, and kinase A. This is the third messenger here, and the CAMK is the third messenger here. But the activation at the end is the same, which is CREB, by phosphorylating that group. Okay. Let's just go to hormones. Certain hormones, such as estrogen, for example, and other steroids, of course, they can enter the neuron. You don't need any receptor here to enter the neuron. You just enter the neuron, Then they find their receptors in the cytoplasm and bind them to form a hormone nuclear receptor complex. This is it, hormone nuclear receptor complex. This complex can then enter the cell nucleus to interact with hormone response elements, HRE, and that would trigger activation of specific genes accordingly. So that's how hormones work here. They enter, combine to their own receptors to form the hormone nuclear receptor complex, then to activate the HRE, which is the hormone response element. Finally, the neurotrophin. The neurotrophin system activates a series of kinase enzymes, okay, with a confusing alphabet soup of names. So we have a lot of names: RAS, RAF, MAK, MEK. Okay, other things, I don't know what are these. So that would trigger at the end the gene expression, which may control such functions as synaptogenesis, of course, and neuronal survival, because that's what it's about the neurotrophin. So it's about the the survival of neurons. That's the point here. Okay. For example, we have something called RAS. That's a G protein. RAF is a kinase. ERK, this is something here, stands for extracellular signal regulated kinase itself. RSK is ribosomal S6 kinase. MAPK, this is MAP kinase itself. GSK3, this is glycogen synthase kinase 3. So we have a lot of details here, but we are just going through this figure just to demonstrate and to check the 4 main kinds of signal transduction. So we've talked about G protein linked system, ion channel linked system, hormone system linked system, and neurotrophin linked system. So that's it.